reported crime is down because majority of the large city police agencies have stopped sending us their data.
Right.
We've redefined crime.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, what's happening in Chicago now? Oh, my God. And listen, this happened during Obama's administration, Trump, and now Biden. And I don't know why they're not cleaning it up. They can. Trust me when I tell you, they can.
It has to be.
It's on purpose.
Yeah, they can clean it up. The same way they came after us, they can go after them. No question about it.
This Tren de Aragua stuff is pretty crazy.
Oh, God.
Yeah, you got the stories out of Colorado where they take over the apartment complex. The media says it's not happening, you're lying. And then I'm seeing these progressives be like, wait a minute, I Google searched this. Here's a story from a year ago talking about it. Why are they denying it now? It's almost like they want these criminal gangs to come and start taking over.
You have to say that they do. Why would they allow it to happen?
How can they maintain power much longer if they've got everyone living under fear constantly?
Maybe that's how.
But if at some point, maybe not, these people are going to realize it's because of these people. Yeah.
You defend yourself, you go to prison.
Yep.
These gangs run around. This is like what Solzhenitsyn was saying.
Yeah.
That, you know, there was the famous passage in the Gulag Archipelago where Red Soldier is in a fight. Guy pulls out a knife. They're fighting. He takes the knife and he stabs the guy.
Yep.
Gets arrested. And they said, why did you kill him? He was trying to kill me. And they said, why didn't you run away?
Yeah.
Well, a guy's trying to kill you. I mean, there's no excuse. I mean, a reasonable person knows that you can try to run, but you might not be able to. And this person might take your life. You got to defend yourself. And the way they treat it is nope. And so now we're dealing with, I love this. The FBI crime report comes out and they say crime is down. And what they're actually saying is reported crime is down because majority of the large city police agencies have stopped sending us their data.
Right.
We've redefined crime.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then the news tells everybody it's down.
It's the dishonesty and the hypocrisy that's just so hard to take.
I feel like the cities are going to have a breaking point, though, where people are going to realize we have to change the way we vote. Perhaps. Like, I don't know what's going on with Eric Adams yet, but it seemed like he was upset about immigration, the way it was hurting his city. And the second he starts to say things that they don't like, the people on his side don't like, all of a sudden how, everything's happening to him.
All of a sudden he's indicted. All of a sudden they investigate stuff that happened many, many years ago.
Right.
They bring it up on him because he said, rightfully so, why are we paying for this? You're allowing it to happen at the border. Why isn't the federal government paying for it? And they didn't want to.
Right.
He went to the White House a couple of times. I said, no, you're on your own, These people are backstab. They're the worst people, I gotta tell you. and you're hearing that from an ex-mob guy.
Right.
I'm telling you, these are the worst people I've ever seen. And I got to tell you another thing. I went to trial 5 times. I was never even 5 minutes late for a trial. Never missed. I stood in front of 5 juries that could have put me away forever, right? Never missed. I get indicted on a white-collar crime. It was a racketeering case, defrauding the government. I get no bail. No bail. This guy's been on, 5 times he stood in front of a jury that could have put him away forever. This is a white-collar crime, basically, defrauding the government out of tax on gasoline. and because why? Because I beat them so many times, they figured, lock him up. It's harder to defend yourself and prepare a defense. And now you go rob a store, you go hit somebody over the head, you shoot a cop, and you're out the next day.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's crazy.
Was that Giuliani prosecuting you?
Huh?
Was Giuliani prosecuting you?
Giuliani prosecuted you, yeah.
Who ended up writing his introduction for his book.
No, really?
He
Wow.
wrote the foreword to my book.
So you've probably hung out with Giuliani since then and talked to him about this stuff?
We haven't been hanging out, but we did get together on a radio show, and we did speak afterwards. And yeah, he was pretty nice.
I got to ask him about this.
Yeah.
He went after you. He went after the mob. Look at the state of New York right now, and look at what the machine is doing to him. I have to wonder what his opinion would be on how things ended up.
Well, I got to tell you something. People have asked me about that. Michael, you should be, it should be sweet to see Giuliani go through the same thing. I said, why? I said, Giuliani did his job back then, okay? He was a federal prosecutor. His job was to go out and get the mob, and he did it. He used the racketeering law very effectively.
Isn't he responsible for it?
Yeah, well, he was the guy that really used it. Was on the books for 10 years before he used it. And he figured it out, and he used it effectively. And then, boom, he put a lot of guys away, right? Mm-hmm. So, fortunately, I beat him because he told me and my lawyer, asked him about this. In the day of my arraignment, I got $1 million bail, I think it was. He said, Francis, if I convict you on this case, you're getting double what your father got. My father got 50. And that's the kind of time they were giving us guys back then, 50, 100 years, like nothing, right? I said, hey, Rudy, bring it on. I beat you guys 4 times. Let's go for round 5. And it was a dumb thing to say at the time. But anyway, you don't want to give them any more reason to come after you. Fortunately, I was acquitted in that case. But yeah, you know, when we went on this radio show, he says, Mike, I've been looking at you for the last 30 years, and I think your transformation is genuine. So he actually gave me a compliment. But I'll tell you this, he was a darn good mayor. Mm-hmm. He was a good prosecutor. And what they're doing to him now, because he aligned himself with Trump, is it's just terrible. Terrible what they're doing.
I probably just romanticize it, but I want to believe there used to be honor to some degree. You know, that, like you mentioned, certain things were off limits. There was certain respect. Like you said, the cops come, you put your hands up, you don't fight. You play it out in the system. You know, everyone knows the rules, and you're going to play this game. You told Rudy, come at me, you win, and it's all through the process. Everybody understands. There's no honor at all today.
None.
You know, and again, maybe I'm just romanticizing because maybe there never was, and we just highlight these moments and we wish it was like that. But now it's just...
Come on. I mean, first of all, I mean, you got to look what they did to Trump. The first time in 200-plus years that they go after a former president the way they did, with such vindictiveness and such garbage. Mm-hmm. Garbage. I mean, what they're prosecuting for is garbage. And then obviously what? 2 impeachments. Baloney, Mueller investigation with this stupid... You know what they did to me with this Russian thing? Listen to this. During the Mueller investigation, when I was back in the day, myself and my Russian partner, I was in partners with the Russian. We were doing gas business together, right? Well, we put up $6 million to buy condos in Trump Towers back then, right? And we gave them cash. Nothing wrong with that, right? Well, do you know that during the Mueller investigation, the FBI came to me and they were asking me about that incident that happened in the early 80s? And I said, wait a second, because my partner, his brother-in-law or something was a KGB agent. I said, are you guys trying to make a Russian connection because me and my partner, who was Russian, bought, condos at Trump Towers? And are you stretching to that? I said, I'll tell you what. Bring me in front of the Mueller investigation. I want to testify. I want to testify. You guys are really reaching. And I never heard from them again. That was the end of that. But that's how far they went.
How desperate they are.
How desperate.
You've had more modern, obviously, interactions with FBI and federal prosecutors. Yeah. How would you compare the guys today to the guys, in the 80s or 90s?
Well, look, it starts at the top. I think there was a different culture back then. Look. Again, we respected the agents. We just told them, don't frame us, do your job. I want to say we liked them. Obviously they were out to get us. But we didn't have this hatred, vendetta against them. But today, I don't know, man. They just operate on a different plane. But I think, look, I'm friends with a lot. I'm friends with Joe Pistone, Donnie Brasco. Mm-hmm. Great guy. People, Michael, how could you be friends with him? Once again, he did his job better than we did ours. He was undercover for 6 years, and we didn't know it. When I say we, we're all one. We didn't know it, so he did a great job. So we became friends. He's a good guy. And there's a lot of agents that I know now that are sick of what they're seeing right now in the FBI. They're ashamed of it. They're retired, but they're ashamed of it. And this starts at the top, and it trickles down. I mean, it's like anything else.
How does this start for you? How do you join this family? You personally, but just in general.
Well, somebody's got to propose you. Somebody within that life has to propose you. You can't just go up to the guy and say, I'd like to join,
Membership.
Yeah. In my case, it was my dad. He proposed me for membership. And then you come in as a recruit and you're told straight out, this is the life. It comes before anything. They told me if your mother is sick and dying, you're at her deathbed, we call you to service. You leave your mother, you come and serve us. From now on, we're number one before anything and everything. And when and if we feel you deserve this privilege or honor to become a member, we'll let you know. When I got made in 1975, for 20 years prior to that, they had an expression that the books were closed. They weren't bringing in any new guys. The only time, and this was among all 5 families in New York, the only time they can bring in a new guy is if somebody died in the family and they replaced him. In the mid-70s, they opened the books. and they started recruiting new guys. So when I got made, there was guys waiting 20 years to become made members, you know.